guys. Welcome to Tutor Sisters channel. Please subscribe to our channel to help us grow.
For today's video, we are going to talk about the 4 levels of the story, The Lottery, written by Shirley Jackson. Now, directly going to the literal comprehension. It was the morning of 27th June. The weather was sunny and fresh. At around 10 o'clock, most of the 300 members of the village were gathered together in a square, waiting for the lottery to take place. The children, including Bobby Martin, Harry Jones, and Dickie Delacroix, were busy filling their pockets with stones and making piles of it in a corner. The adults were busy in chats and gossips. Mr. Summers, who conducted all civic activities, including the lottery, arrived with the black wooden box. The original paraphernalia for the lottery had been long lost. The chants and salutes were now different, but the black box had remained the same from decades, just like the lottery tradition. The both were not something the villagers would ever want to abandon. The lottery was declared open. The list of heads of families were being made. Mrs. Tessie Hutchinson hurriedly arrived to the square. She had forgotten that it was the day of the lottery. She soon joined other women of the village and then went on to join her family. The lottery was being drawn. The heads of the families were called to pick a piece of paper out of the box. In the midst of silence, the paper was revealed. It was not the old man Warner who was participating in the lottery for the 77th time. It was neither the Graves, nor the Delacroix, the Watsons, the Dunbars, or any other families of the village, but it was Bill Hutchinson who got the lottery. In spite of Mrs. Tessie Hutchinson's dissent towards the lottery results, she was shushed, and the drawing of lottery took place within the Hutchinson family. Bill Tessie and their 3 kids, Bill Jr., Nancy, and little Dave, all took their chances of the lottery with heavy hearts. But it was Mrs. Tessie Hutchinson's piece of paper that had the black dot on it. She was the winner of the lottery proceeds, and she was stoned to death by the villagers. Now, moving on to interpretation. The lottery is Jackson's attempt to depict horror in the midst of familiar and commonplace surrounding. It is presented as an allegory and a portrayal of human obtuseness, passivity, and cruelty. It demonstrates human evilness and selfishness and their attempts to harm others for own superstitious benefits. In the story, poor Tessie was brutally stoned to death with the expectation of welcoming great harvest and fortune. Furthermore, the story asserts the reluctance of people to abandon outdated traditions. It presents human narrow-mindedness when the subject matter is tradition and culture. The text exemplifies how the old man Warner acknowledges disregarding the traditions as being a pack of fools. The story satires the tendency of humans blindly following absurd and illogical traditions. Now, moving on to critical thinking. The Lottery is a marvelous depiction of existence of horror in everyday settings. Jackson's selection of the subject matter of tradition to symbolize human narrow-mindedness, absurdness, cruelty, and selfishness is more or less realistic. However, there are certain details that are questionable. How can people go back to their normal lives without being disturbed a bit just after stoning an innocent woman to death? The initial settings of the story is happy and joyous, but how can people be so cheerful and normal when they know that after some time they are about to kill someone close or get killed themselves? I can't believe that people can be so foolish and inhuman that they regard traditions important than their own family members. How can Bill not make any attempt to save his wife? And how can Nancy and Bill Jr. be happy for themselves when their own mother is being killed? Is it even a good thing to be involved in such an act of cruelty? Even the children were actively participating. Why were the villagers even passing on such vicious tradition to the younger generation instead of teaching them moral principles? Likewise, it is petrifying even to think that such violent societies even exist in the world. Nevertheless, the story succeeds to capture unique style of terror. Jackson's attention to detail and expert characterization is commendable. Its distinctive balance of dialogues and narration make the story interesting to the readers. Now, moving on to the assimilation, after going through this text, I get a fair amount of insight regarding human obtuseness and cruelty. I understand that humans are selfish and are involved in the act of harming others for their own benefits. They tend to choose shortcuts and blind beliefs like lottery over scientific and progressive logics. Moreover, this story makes me realize that we also sacrifice innocent animals in the name of tradition and religion during festivals like Dasai. We sacrifice them expecting to please Goddess Durga for blessings and power. Traditions like lottery are long practiced, and people don't even think about disregarding it because they don't realize that it is an act of inhumanity. However, we can at least make an effort to replace such practices that directly or indirectly harm others for creating a world of peace and happiness.
If you liked this video, please share it with your friends. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.